Have you ever noticed how a geopolitical conflict thousands of miles away can suddenly make the petrol for your scooter more expensive or drive up the electricity bill at your home in Odisha? When international supply chains are disrupted by conflict, the physical movement of critical coal and oil grinds to a halt. Because those ships aren't moving, the global market panics. The price of imported coal and petroleum spikes, and those extra costs are passed directly down to local consumers, filling up their tanks or paying for grid power. This creates a state of energy insecurity. Energy insecurity is a systemic vulnerability that happens when a region's daily power relies heavily on fuels imported from volatile, war-impacted areas. Depending on foreign fossil fuels means a local economy actively imports global inflation and severe structural fragility right into its own backyard. To make up for these global fuel shortages, grids often burn emergency, low-grade fossil fuels. This releases higher concentrations of greenhouse gases, accelerating the exact climate anomalies that threaten our coastlines. We saw the direct result of this cycle in March 2026, when Odisha was hit by a brutal combination of extreme heat waves, followed immediately by sudden, severe flash floods. Under the dual stress of triple-digit temperatures and massive water damage, traditional centralized power infrastructure simply collapsed. The events of March 2026 exposed the fatal breaking point of an outdated, carbon-heavy energy system that could no longer withstand the climate extremes it helped create. Centralized thermal power grids have a mechanical flaw. If the physical coal runs out, or if the transmission lines snap during a storm, the entire network goes dark. When that grid fails, the societal effects compound rapidly. Cell towers lose power, hospitals are forced on backup generators, and education halts for students. To stop this cycle, Odisha is rapidly pivoting away from imported thermal power. The state is building a localized, self-sustaining energy network powered entirely by renewable sources. This chart shows the state's aggressive scale-up curve, shifting from thermal reliance to a massive 11-gigawatt renewable target by 2030. Looking inside that target, we see massive allocations carved out specifically for new solar and wind power. Unlike shipments of coal or oil, sunshine and wind cannot be blockaded by foreign wars, restricted by international embargoes, or halted by supply chain strikes. This energy transition works alongside the OSDMA, or the Odisha State Disaster Management Authority. OSDMA is the state's apex institutional body, designed to prepare for and physically shield the population from severe climate events. When the macro power grid fails during a cyclone, OSDMA's network of 879 purpose-built flood and cyclone shelters activate, serving as decentralized, life-saving hubs for vulnerable communities. Out on the roads, the state is actively severing its daily reliance on imported petrol by providing direct financial subsidies to citizens purchasing electric vehicles. To power those vehicles and shelters, massive green infrastructure projects are already in the ground across the state's landscape. By combining this advanced disaster preparedness with localized green energy production, Odisha transforms from a victim of climate volatility into a national model for systemic resilience. True systemic resilience demands a dual approach, building new energy technology while aggressively protecting our natural ecological barriers. Coastal ecosystems, like the dense root systems of the mangroves shown here, act as an ultimate self-repairing first line of defense. They physically absorb the impact of storm surges and rising sea levels before the water reaches inland communities. Further inland, massive hydroengineering structures like the Hiraku Dam serve a vital dual purpose. They manage and contain dangerous floodwaters, while simultaneously utilizing that immense water pressure to generate clean, baseline electricity for the grid. Securing the state's future requires maintaining this strict balance between deploying advanced engineering and committing to deep environmental conservation. For the students watching this, your future careers and educational paths are inextricably tied to the expanding green economy. The green economy is an economic model that focuses on sustainable development, renewable energy, and reducing environmental risks, while creating entirely new job sectors. Maintaining this statewide shield requires a new generation of experts trained in specific, high-demand skills, including solar engineering, advanced environmental science, and sustainable agriculture. It is time to adopt sustainable practices in your own neighborhoods and train to become the operators of this invincible grid. A secure, sustainable Odisha will thrive precisely because its green solutions are designed, built, and managed by its own youth.